You've never taken a break from tango, have you?
I have never. No, no. Maybe a week. Okay, maybe 1 week or but it's not really a break because I feel
No.
like okay, maybe when I was in school that I had to study for midterm or final, then maybe I took maybe but even then I think I went to long anyway. But like maybe 1 week, there was one point I still remember one point that I felt like, man, it's just I don't know, I don't feel like dancing much, so maybe I should just not doing it. I think that I did that for a week and then I feel like going back.
I'm Liz Sabachik, and this is Humans of Tango, where we explore what tango has to teach through the experiences of those who dance it. I got to know London Hong just a little at a tango festival in Baltimore sometime around 2014. London lived in New York, but he was known among DC social dancers for his talent and his relentless drive to improve his dance. Both the talent and the drive were on full display at that festival, together with a friendly, down-to-earth disposition. But before London became a rising star with an intercity reputation, he was an international student trying partner dancing for the first time.
I started this studio called Dance Sport in New York. They don't run it anymore because of the COVID. It's where I think Al Pacino learned his tango for Attainable Women.
Wow, what a claim to fame. No disrespect to Al Pacino.
Yeah, but anyway, well, that was the marketing point of the studio.
Nice.
But first, this studio, taught like many different dances, like salsa, lindy, swing, cha-cha, more like waltz and stuff like that. They also taught hustle. Before I was like, okay, I want to learn some kind of partner dancing. I looked up some information and I found this studio. I think I started with like some kind of unlimited, like beginners package kind of stuff so that I could try all the stuff. To be honest, the first tango wasn't very fun. It's slow and like hustle, you turn and you move. Maybe music is maybe a little more like rhythmic and all. But then like very soon after, I think I get to see the video of Forever Tango, and I remember the number was Alberto Carriego by Carlo Gavito and Marcelo Duran. I saw that video. I mean, it's legendary video, everybody knows.
Linked in the show notes in case somehow you missed it.
I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. He seemed like Gavito. He looked a little older, so maybe I can enjoy this thing until when I get old. And I don't know, like after I just like quit doing other dances and just like all the way tango. And the more I learn and more I do, the more I love it. I love dancing in general. Like even I remember when I was like really young, I remember I did some of this kind of K-pop band dancing for the school. It's not a prom, and a Korean school doesn't have a prom, but like some kind of events. Because I remember like when I was really young, at some point I kind of wanted to become a dancer, but I felt like I was too old to start. It's so ridiculous to hear now. I was still in my teenage, but like, I think it's because of this elitism in Korean education. Like, okay, you got to start very early if you want to be successful in music or like art. So I felt like, okay, I'm too late. Maybe I was like, 15, 16, and I felt like too old for doing that. So I never tried, which I kind of regret. But yeah, so.
But now
Tango
here you are with tango.
Here I am, yes.
And then the video, I guess there was an aesthetic part of it that drew you in, and the aesthetic of the lines and the drama. I mean, Forever Tango's like a lot of drama, right?
Yeah, it's the whole thing, I think. First of all, I think the music fits me very well. I don't know. Maybe I'm a dramatic person. So I love this drama in the music. It's like so sort of, I don't know, grand and like, it's a huge scale of like orchestra and all the emotions that you see, Forever Tango is like theater show. So and that for me was like, I was like so wowed. Aesthetic wise, I was very, and I like, well, this looks so cool. It's kind of simple, yeah. It's just so cool. It's the whole thing, like the way they dressed. It was very sleek, and the music and the emotion and passion and thing. As any kind of art form, it's a way to express who you are, kind of thing. And maybe until that point, I never get to experience expressing this drama in me or any kind of emotion. Like, so maybe I never really understood what art is really. Maybe that point that I felt like maybe I was okay. Oh my God. I want to do that. Maybe I can do that. Because then it doesn't look like that I have to stretch my legs and make it like a ballet dancer is like doing thing. Well, maybe I can do that. I don't have to be like so flexible, maybe. No, I was really thinking this stuff. So yeah. So then I started doing it, and I loved it. I had like for a long time the inner debate whether I should pursue the dream of becoming a tango dancer, like as like a full-time tango dancer, or should I just enjoy it as a hobby? But then somehow I felt like I should pursue this. I think that one point was actually because I started learning bandoneon, and I felt like maybe I can do these two together. It's kind of silly, but at first, because usually all the work in tango dancing happens in the evening. You teach in the evening, you go to milonga at night. So during daytime, maybe I could practice bandoneon. Before, I only had like tango dancing, and that was maybe not enough for me. I think one reason was because I saw so many friends or colleagues who sort of regret it. Some of my friends, they quit their job and jump into tango teaching and all that. And after maybe a few years, they kind of regret, not really enjoying tango anymore. They lost their passion and love for tango. But then after that, they cannot go back where they were because, already in a trap that to make a living, they have to teach and do the work. But then they get tired and, going to milonga and enjoying it is probably, they just want to go home and, take rest. And I saw many cases of this. I saw so many of these. And I mean, the people you probably also know, I've seen.
You don't have to name names unless you want to.
I cannot name names, but that sort of put me back. Okay, maybe I should like think over to become a tango dancer. So I don't want to regret later on. So maybe I should not just jump into tango teaching because becoming a full-time tango dancer means you have to teach in general. Because unless you're like you belong to a certain tango company and you tour and give a performance like every night, but usually that's not the case. You have to teach to make a living. So it was tough for a long time. But then I started learning bandoneon, and I was just so in love with doing that, and just somehow like, okay, I should probably do this because now I have two. So if I get tired of doing one thing, maybe I can sort of rely on the other part.
London's decision to dedicate himself to tango full-time led directly to another major life decision, whether to stay in New York or return to his hometown of Seoul, South Korea.
I lived in New York a little more than 10 years. I think it's 12, 13 years. I don't know. I feel New York as like my second home. I feel very comfortable in being in New York. So I was for instance, international student, and then I worked for a company. So, with a working visa and student visa and kind of stuff. Working in the office, takes a lot of energy. And, after that, you don't really have energy to work on your stuff. Like, because if I decide to become a tango dancer, then I want to work on my technique and, do the rehearsals and stuff. I was also thinking about joining the Army, U.S. Army, because they had a program called MAVNI, which they allow foreign aliens to join the military, and they give a citizenship. But you got to serve for about like 4 years or something, I think. I considered that, and I actually took some process of joining, but eventually I kind of gave up because, again, the same reason that I had to stay, many years, which is a sort of critical time to work on my tango skills, basically. Because, I want to start as early as possible. Like people in Argentina, they start when they're very young. So another thing that made me sort of move back to Korea was as a professional tango dancer, like what I can offer and what I can be. I don't necessarily experience so much of racism in tango, like personally, but it's when it comes to me presenting myself as Argentine tango dancer. Because, it's in a community, you have like, Argentine dancers and all, or Argentine lookalike dancers.
So you think people are like still looking for the stereotype?
Oh, yeah, it
tango
exists.
stereotype.
And that's just something that I experienced personally because, I give performances and all that. But if I do that in South Korea, I don't have that problem, Like, New York is very, very open. And I love New York and I love people in New York. But still, there are people who have this racism inside, like, that they don't necessarily always like show up, but it comes out, time to time.
Sure.
And working like this, that's, because it has a name already. Name suggests like Argentine tango, like it's from Argentina. But, there are many Argentine dancers in the States. I was just kind of like SWOT analysis.
SWOT as in strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
I probably could survive, but at the same time, maybe I could achieve better things. I don't have to feel any kind of stereotype if I actually work in South Korea. That was also one other reason that I came back. Because I want, if I do it, I want to do good. I want to be successful,
Yeah.
Not financially per se, but like I want to, only evaluate it as a skills and, level and tango itself, not the look of the person.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is this is not the only reason. It's just all the things combined.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably better move back to Seoul and, develop and build like my stuff there. Yeah.
It sounds like it was a hard decision, though.
It was very tough because, again, I felt very compatible. Or it fits me very well, like culture-wise. Just this Asian culture that has somehow, they care so much about what other people think. But something that I love about New York is that they do care a little bit, but it's a lot less. But they are very actually sharing, like what you do, if you do it well, if you do it hard, and they really acknowledge your effort and the dedication. That's sort of how I felt in New York. So I love living in New York, but just I couldn't stay. race-wise, I'm just one of them. So, I really don't have problem of that. But here has other problems. Again, I'm sort of, how can I say, you know, I'm new, like out of nowhere, right? I didn't really visit or like travel Korea to dance or anything. So, a lot of people don't really know me. The way I teach and the way I approach dancing is also very different from what people here were doing.
Huh.
Um,
Can you tell me how? Some example of how it's
I
different?
think it's something that I feel always, because like different city or different country has, different community. But usually in this communities have, I don't know how to put it, like initiator or like opinion leader, someone who sort of lead the communities sort of in a direction.
Mm.
For example, I don't know, if I live in a town, I'm the only teacher and there are like maybe 100 students. And if I bring certain master and me, that's like the only information they have. And so this community has certain type of, I don't know, maybe dancing in style and even culture, like the way they think. And I think that was very evident when I came back. So, for example, competition is so important here. The reason why I compete is, I mean, again, yes, I want to have a good opportunities. It's a good way to sort of show my work, but it's so important on my resume here. It's culture.
That was one of my
culture.
questions. So thank you for answering that before I had a chance to ask.
Yeah. So the Asian, again, I'm not like talking bad about like Asian people, again, it's just different culture. They care a lot about what's on the paper, maybe the first place in certain championships. So in a way, okay, if I go back, I probably have to join the competition and work it out. Because, I was in the States, I never competed, not even once. I mean, competition was happening in San Francisco, so maybe that was another reason. But here, I knew it was very important. People care about the title of becoming a champion. The level of dancing is very good. Like all my friends, they always have very good time in the milonga. But in a way, it's in a way, it feels like they dance only in the box. Like they don't feel comfortable doing things, go out of box. Now I'm not saying anywhere is better, just it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I feel in Seoul. Because, I was sort of an alien here. Like doing things, teaching certain things, and they're like, okay, how? Like, for example, I said, like, maybe relaxing your knees and, bend your knees maybe a little bit. And they say, no, but I had to straighten my knees, because they were so impacted by, okay, you have to keep your lines. This kind of stuff. So it's little things, but it's a big, yeah.
London may relax his knees from time to time, but he never forgets about the aesthetics that first drew him to tango. For London, inner experience and outward expression are linked. He also seeks to cultivate a synergy between social improvisation and choreographed performance.
So first, appeal was like the whole thing, like the drama, the storytelling, and probably the whole set with the music and the dialogue between the two dancers. And then later on, when I was so into social dancing, and then I experienced this, I don't know, like all these words like tangasm, whatever, people say, right? Yeah, I felt that I love doing that. I love being in that state. Obviously.
And for anyone who might not have heard the term tangasm, is that like a state of flow, would you say?
I think it's the word that combined with tango and orgasm, right? So, but it feels like so good and maybe so relieved and everything, all stress is gone and you feel like maybe euphoric, I don't know. And that you feel so happy and satisfied somehow. Mm-hmm. And I refer this kind of state after dancing.
Yeah.
And you feel so connected to the other person, So this part of tango also very important, and I felt it was so good experience. And I realized that, oh, okay, maybe this kind of technique and the aesthetic not necessarily go together. But at the same time, as I work on my technique and all that, I don't know, I always felt like I want to look good. Especially if I do certain things, I want to look good. From outside, when you look at certain things, when something is beautiful or something is harmonious, then, there's like some kind of science in it, right? So I feel the same thing, that dancing, you should look for the beauty and aesthetic out of it. And I think that can enhance how you feel and how your partner can feel. We cheer for all these masters from the look. You don't necessarily dance with these masters, but you see these people and wow, they're amazing, right? You only see the videos and you only see the performance and you get all from outside. I think it's very beautiful to see, like Tango Escenario, for example, like stage tango, like good piece and hard work. I don't know, like I get moved. Good improvisation, the same. And I try to find a way that can enhance the other area. For example, I learn, choreography and doing things. I try to find what points I can connect to my social dancing. Even like, for example, in the choreography, you have some kind of acting and, being in the moment, concentrating on your partner or just like giving a gaze. And that can also maybe apply to social dancing a little bit, maybe different level of intensity, but during the improvisation, you find certain way of moving. Okay, so I can make a pattern that I can sort of stretch out to make a nice movement for choreography.
Since moving back to South Korea, London has competed and placed in multiple tango championships and opened a tango academy with his dance partner Sol. Right now, their primary focus is attracting the next generation of dancers. So right now, the two of you opened the school together, and you're running everything and taking care of the space correct. And classes and promotion and all of the things.
Correct. Yes.
Got it.
Everything. Even the YouTube channel that we do is she does the editing and everything of the videos. So
nice. Yeah. Those are great. I was going to ask you who came up with those, like especially the little shorts are like so fun.
So one of the vision that we have is that we want to approach to non-tango people, especially in their maybe 20s or 30s, the younger crowd. So that's one reason why we make videos kind of funny
and sometimes dancing to pop music, right?
That too, yes. That works. So
yeah. So to reach new audiences who might not necessarily identify as interested in tango.
Because the tango scene was established through hobby club. It's just the online community, and about like 20 years ago, it was a kind of hot thing. But now that age group literally aged all together. So like all newcomers were always these friends. So for example, now in their 40s, in their 50s are like probably the most group in tango in Korea. Really, if somebody's in their 20s, it's like almost non-existent. So I feel like it's almost a crisis. And as a tango professional, I'm as a part of community, that I feel like, okay, this is very important. One thing that I really respect and I admire a lot about the States tango community was the the university and college association with the tango community, which, they have like very good channel of producing younger dancers. And here, literally, there's like none.
Is it harder on a bureaucratic level, or is it just a lack of interest in the students?
It's just, it's probably for both, but, people just don't know about it. And, at least if there is like student club, then maybe they see, okay, this exists. So that's just the one vision that we try to work on, to approach the more younger crowd and get them to start tango dancing and make them to stay. Yeah, but I really miss New York. I want to back. I miss my friends.
Yeah.
Miss the people. So one day I will definitely go visit. Maybe with a trophy.
With a trophy? If you get a trophy, then you can tour, right? Is that what you're thinking? You'll do your victory tour.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be like a dream come true. But yeah, I do my best. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm happy to report that since this interview, London and Seoul have secured at least 2 trophies in Asian regional championships for their stage tango performances, which means they'll be headed to the final round of the 2023 World Tango Championship in Buenos Aires. Here's to putting in the work, however we want that to look or feel. Thank you, London, and congratulations. And thanks to Tango Bardo for the recording that accompanies this episode, Yunta de Oro, composed by Osvaldo Ruggiero and made famous by Osvaldo Pugliese.